We'll quickly revise the last two chapters with most important shlokas. Make a note, and if you want, you can even memorize these shlokas. Carry that knowledge within yourself as you. From the chapter 1, we all know Nachiketa was told by his father, go to hell, go to Yama, because you're asking too many questions. And the first very important shloka I feel is Anupashya yatha purve, paripashya yatha pare, sasyameva martyah pachyate, sasyameva ajayate punaha. You are born again and you die again like a seed or like a corn seed or a mustard seed. That's all is your existence. Beyond that, your existence is not there. So please think about your life again and again. Do I want to spend this life again the same way? Let me think about what has happened in the past with my life, how sorrows and joys have come and gone, how I thought this is the most important thing, and later I realized it wasn't so. I simply tortured myself for nothing. These kind of realizations should come by you looking at your life carefully. That is the shloka number 6 of the first Valli. Next one. The 3 varas that Nachiketa asks from Yama, the first one was Shanta Sankalpa Sumana Yatha Syadvita Manyuh Gautamo Maabhimrityo. So please make sure that my father becomes happy again with me as he was in the earlier times, and he gives up all the anger towards me. That is what is my first vara. Why I told this? Because he is thinking of his father who has, so to say, done wrong to him. Yet Nachiketa is one who has no enmity towards anybody. It's a beautiful quality to have. He is not anybody's enemy at all. For him, everybody, Yasman no dvijate loko lokan no dvijate chaya. He doesn't trouble anybody, nor gets troubled by anybody also. Whatever happens, he sees the opportunity in adversity, maintains a positive mind, and the very first person who has done harm to him, he asks for the happiness of that person. See, once some thief stole away something from somebody, I'm very, very sad. So even to Guru said that one fellow has stolen this thing from my house, my own servant, so much we cared for him and this and that. The Guru says, so what do you want me to do? You should curse him that he should suffer all his life. He said, no, I will bless him that he should have so much money in his life that never again he will have to steal anything from any house. See the attitude. He has stolen things from me. Let me bless him that he should have so much in his life that never again he should come to a situation when we'll have to steal from someone. So that is a positive attitude in a negative situation. That is Nachiketa's quality. Then this second shloka is about how to go to Swargaloka. Again he asks for the sake of those who want to go to Swargaloka, shloka number 13. So he says, Satvamagni Swargam Madhyeshi Mutyo Prabruhi Tvam Shraddhadanaya Mahyam Swargaloka Amrutatvam Bhajanta Etadvitiyena Vine Varena. This is the second one. I believe when you go to heaven, there is Amrutatva there. You can live very, very long. There is no fear over there. Please teach me about that. This is the problem of the Karmakandis. They all want to enjoy heaven. First they want to enjoy the earth, then they want to enjoy heaven. And beyond that, they don't care. For them also, he said, let me take care of them. Papam, they are doing it all wrong. Let me teach them. Right. So he's hard for the society. That also is seen here. Shloka number 20. This is the most important vara that he asks. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye astiti eke nayam astiti cha eke etad vidyam anushishta tvayaham paranameva varastatiya. This is the third boon. Some people believe it exists after death. Some people say it doesn't exist after death. This is the confusion in people's mind. Please teach me that vidya. That alone I ask as the third boon. Then shloka 22. This is the reply Nachiketa gives to Yama, who is dissuading him. Why do you want to know about it? Nobody knows about it. And his argument is very beautiful. He says, Devairatrapi vichikitsitam kilam. That about which even gods are confused about. And tvam cha mrutyo yanna sugyeya matha. You are saying it is not well understood by anybody. You yourself are saying, Vakta chasya dvam drugyo na labhyaha. I will not find a teacher like you again. And na anyo varastulya etasya kaschid. There cannot be another boon better than this. How important. Give me money, give me arti, artharti, jignasu. None of this is good enough. Nahi jnanena sadrusham. Nothing is equal to jnana in this world. Pavitram iha vidyate, says Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Nothing is equivalent to jnana, as pure, as sacred, as noble as jnana. So that is the shloka when he says, Nanya varas vara. There cannot be another boon than the boon of Brahma Vidya, that to be learning from somebody like you. In shloka 26 he says, when Yama has offered all the material things, he says, Shobhava martyasya yadanta kaitad sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha api sarvam jivitam alpameva tavaiva vaha tav nityagrite. He says, because I have realized whatever is there today, we don't know whether it will be there tomorrow. Shvo bhava. Shva, tomorrow. Abhava may not be there. Martyasya, of all the humans or the mortals in this world. And Antaketad, you are there at the end of it all. He calls him by the name, the ender, the destroyer of all. So you are there at the end. Plus whatever you are offering, Jarayanti Teja, all these, my indriyas will get weak. And with weak indriyas, how will I do practice meditation? If I become old and I have all my indriyas are gone, I can't sit 2 minutes also in one position. Some back pain, leg pain. So it won't work out. So next shloka that we have seen is chapter 1, Valli 2. We have moved on to the Valli 2 now. The very first shloka is the most important. Anyat shreyo, anyat utaiva preyaha. Ubhe nanarte purusham sinitaha. There is preya and there is shreya. They have their own different reasons by which both of them bind humans. That is very important. We do good and we think we are doing good, and that also binds us. We do bad and of course we are guilty, that binds us too. Tayoha shreya adadanasya sadhu. The one who chooses the shreya becomes a sadhu. Bhavati and hiyate arthadya yau preyo vinite. The one who chooses the preya, he ruins his life's purpose. That is the idea. The life has been given to realize God. That has been ruined very much because of choosing pleasant over the good. That is first shloka. Similarly, next one is the shloka second also clarifies this idea. Shreyascha preyascha manushya metat tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha. Both of them come in front of man. This dilemma to choose always presents itself at every step. A dhira, discriminating one, carefully observes and discriminates, and therefore he chooses shreya, whereas the foolish fellow who thinks that I have to take care of me, my family, money, employment, enjoyment, all these people choose the preya part of it because they don't realize the importance of shreya. Next is shloka 5. Avidyaya mantre vartamana swayam dhira panditam manyamana. Who come and advise what you know, I know everything, don't do this, don't do that. Dandramyamana paryanti mudha ande naiva niyamana yathandaha. Like blind leading the blind, they go in circles, crooked ways, and then they keep falling because they don't know the truth, but they think they know the truth. Next is shloka 6. Na samparaya pratibhati balam. For the spiritually immature, this does not reveal itself. And what it says? Pramadyanta vittam mohena mudam. They keep making the same mistake more efficiently every time now because they are so deluded by the idea of wealth and happiness and pleasures. Ayam loko naasti paraiti mani. They think only this world exists and nothing beyond this. Puna vashamapadyate me. They again and again come in the control of death. It means they are born and they die again, born again and keep making the same mistakes. Then comes the shloka 7. It says, Shravanayapi bahubir yona labhyaha. By listening to it, it is not to be understood. Shranvantopi bahava, like hearing it in many ways. Yamna vidyu, you cannot understand it. Ascharyo vakta kushlo asya labdha. The speaker of this truth should be amazing. The knower of the truth should speak this truth. And kushlo asya labdha, the disciple who wants to attain this truth also should be a fit disciple, an adept disciple by having practiced 7 things. Brahmacharya, tapas, shraddha, brahmanveshanmana, brahmanishta, brahmapara, and samitpanihi. So like that is a kushla asya labdha who wants it. Ascharyo gyata, the knower of this truth becomes amazing. Kushla anushishta, and if you learn under this knower of truth as his disciple, you also are amazing because he won't accept you without testing you. Shloka 9 is there. Naesha tarkena matirapaneya. By logic this cannot be understood. And prokta anyeva sugnyanaya preshtaha. The one who knows it and sees it as the one without the two alone will be able to teach you correctly. Yam tvamapaha satyadhritir batasi. As you are, satyadhriti, fully resolute to know this truth. You are not shaking and you are not getting fooled by all the temptations of the world. That resolute you are. There is no other questioner like this I have seen. May my disciples, questioners, be like you. Bhuyat. Let them be like you. Hopefully I'll get more of such good Paravidya students in the future too. That is what Yama is asking for. Shloka 10. He is very important. Janami aham. I know what that Shevadhi, this treasure that we have been speaking about, go to heaven, attain wealth, children, progeny. This is all anityam. This is all temporary. Yama is confessing now. Earlier, Yachiketa said, Alpameva sarva jivitam. I don't want all this is temporary. Now he himself is confirming that yes, I know it is temporary, knowing that I tried to fool you, because by giving you the idea of Nachiketa Agni where temporary things are offered, permanent cannot be attained. Therefore I tried to fool you into this, but you saw through my game. And by doing this, what do? I generally fool everybody like this, and then I become permanent. Means I keep coming and picking them up after every birth. That's how I make myself permanent, by teaching them all impermanent things. And then Shloka 14, Anyatra dharmat, anyatra dharmat, anyatra asmat kritat kritat, anyatra bhutacha bhavyacha yattat pashyasi tadvada. Beautiful Shloka. He says, Nachiketa is seeing through this drama also. You are very good, you are very nice student, I would like to have more students like you. And he humbly says, Yamaji, enough you praised me, enough you fooled me. Let us come to the point. Tell me about that which you know of. How it is different from dharma, dharma. On the moment you say it is dharma, adharma, it means what? Adi daivika is over that, because in mind we think this is good, this is bad. And krita, akrita, doing for a reason. Akrita means a reason, krita means the action. So it is beyond the reason and action. So adi bhautika is also over. Bhutacha bhavyacha. It was there, it is there, it will be there in the future, we don't know. Tell me that which is beyond all these things. It means in a way he is trying to tell beyond Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adi Atmika, what is that truth which is beyond all the states of existence, time and cause and effect. Tell me that truth if you know about it. Don't tell me about dharma, choose right, don't choose the wrong. I don't want to hear that. Don't tell me about you had a good student, I'm a good teacher. I don't want to know that. Don't tell me that you are very, very resolute and you deserve it or you don't deserve it. I don't want to know about it. Tell me about that which is beyond all the dualities. Then he says, Sarve Veda yat padam amananti, tapansi sarvani cha yad vadanti, and yad icchanto brahmacharyam charanti, tatte padam sangrahena bravim om iti etat. He says, I am going to tell you about that now. We have understood that you are not going to settle for anything less. Here it is. Om is the short description of that Brahman, about which all the Vedas tell. So I explained Vedas are like Shraddha. You believe in the words of the Veda. That is Shraddha. And then Tapasa, I told you about Vangmayi Tapas, Mano Tapas, Manasa Tapas, and also the Sharira Tapas. All these are people practicing for whose sake? To realize this truth. Now you know how important it is, because at the end he says, Na Shanta Manaso, Na Shanto, Na Samahitaha, Na Vita Duscharitraha. All these things are here, tapa. And then yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti is withdrawal from senses and focusing only on God, single pointed mind, samahita manaha. That comes when you do brahmacharyam charanti. You do everything for the sake of Brahman and not for anything else. That one, that padam, that state of existence, let me teach you in a brief way. It is called Om. Because he doesn't describe Om here, but Mandukya described in great detail. Prashna Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, great detail, Om. Now Shloka 18, Na jayate mriyate va vapaschit, na ayam kutaschit, na babhuva kaschit. Ajo nitya shashvato ayam purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. This is the core idea of Vedanta. This is the core idea of Bhagavad Gita. This is the core idea of Upanishads. Which is that one which we are discussing, the Brahman does not born, does not die, it is of the nature of awareness, vipaschit. It is aware, it is completely knowledgeable. Na ayam kutaschit, it has not come from anywhere. Na babhuva kaschit, nor anything is coming out of it. It has not come out of anything, nor it is coming out of anything. It means it's not an acquired intelligence, or it is not something through which we can acquire more knowledge. It was, is and will be there as the very substratum, the basis of all intelligence, the awareness. Ajo nitya shashvatayam purano, it is never born, it is ever there. It is the permanent one and the oldest one. Means it was there at the very beginning. Nothing was there before it. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. When body is killed, it is not killed. Then, how is its nature? 20th shloka, Anoraniyan Mahato Mahyan. It is the smallest and subtlest of the subtle, and also the greatest of the great. Both it is. Then we studied the example of how space enters the atom and also expands and covers the entire universe and beyond. Therefore, it is smallest and the greatest. And beyond the space, Akasha being the closest to Brahman, beyond the space is Brahman. That Brahman is, of course, then Anoraniyan and Mahato Mahyan. And where does it stay? Jantor Nito Guhayam. Means it is entered all the beings. It's like space, which is within me and also outside me. Everything is in space and space is in everything. That is the nature in which Brahman exists. Because Brahman is not a body or an object, quantifiable, qualifiable. It is existence itself. Tamakratuhu. Who can get it? Tamakratuhu. When you become akratuhu, when your all desires are done, you have no more desires left for which sake you act in the world. Then you achieve it. Pashyanti vita shokaha. The one who sees it gets rid of all the fears, shoka and sorrows. Dhatu prasadat mahimanam atmanaha. Dhatu prasada, his indriyas, his mind, which are called dhatu. All because they bear dharana. So therefore all that are in peace. Because there is no agitation, no frustration, no desire in such a person. To such person this becomes visible. Though it is hiding in all smallest of the smallest, biggest of the biggest, it becomes visible to only that person who works in the world without desire for anything, whose body, mind and senses are absolutely calm, bereft of any ideas of individuality. And 23, Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo na medaya na bahuna shrutena yamai vaisha vrunate tena labhya tasyaisha atma vivrunate tanum swam. This Atma reveals only to that person who wants only this Atman and nothing else, because otherwise by discourses it cannot be understood, by intelligence and logic it cannot be obtained, and by listening to it by so many people, okay, let us go to somebody else and we will understand there. No, it won't happen. It has to happen only when you desire for it and it alone. And this is very important shloka from the point of view of practice. Na avirato duscharita. Till you stop doing wrong things in your life. Na ashanto, till your mind is at peace. Na samahita, if your mind is not focused. Na ashanta manaso, also the desire that I am not getting liberation, that impatience. All these people, this prajnanenam apnuyad, all these people cannot attain this through this prajnanam brahma. This particular knowledge of Brahman cannot be attained by such people whose bodies are not in control, mind is not in control, it's not focused, and also who are impatient about realization. 4 things. Body and senses in control, mind is in control, mind is pure, focused, and there is no impatience to realize. These 4 qualities are required for them to understand this Brahman, apart from the most important one, which is mumukshatvam, which is to ask Brahman for Brahman and nothing else. These are the 5 things which are the core of spiritual practices. Yamai Vesha Vrunate, I want Brahman alone. 2, Avirato Duscharito, you have to stop doing wrong things. Wrong things, what senses are meant for, use them for that. Only to that extent. Beyond that, don't use them. It's a waste. So just use them as it is required. To go towards Brahman, then Na Shanto, your mind should be at peace. All kinds of desires, worries, fears should not haunt you. Then the mind which is in a focused and a concentrated state can focus on this idea and dharana can happen. Then Na Ashanta Manaso, that is the mind which is not impatient to realize Brahman. It is able to wait and watch as long as whenever Brahman wants, he will reveal. With that idea, the one who lives. These 5 things have been told in these 2 shlokas. Very, very important. At least if you can't remember all, remember these 2 shlokas. Remember that you want Brahman and Brahman alone. And second, if you want, you have to be ready to receive Brahman. And what is the readiness? Mind and indriyas should be under good control. Mind should not have all kinds of thoughts and it should be focused. It should have Ashanta Manasa should not be there. The impatience should not be there to realize Brahman. So these are the points that you have to thoroughly get it in your head. Otherwise, Kathopanishad will be just wasted. It will be washed over of your memory in 10 days of reading other Aparavidya. This will go in the back. No. Make sure that some of these shlokas you by heart it and keep repeating to yourself. Someday the shloka's meaning will just manifest to you. Today it's a borrowed knowledge. Someday it will become your own knowledge. That is how you will know what it is. See, when you see mother cooking food, you say it's very simple. Put on the gas, put one vessel, little oil, and put some onions, put some chili, put some this, put rava, put white water, upma is ready. You go and prepare it one day without your mother by your side, then you know what upma comes out of it. So today it's like that. By being by my side, you have thought, I have learned how to cook. When you have to start all by your own, from lighting the gas stove onwards, the problem will begin. And what to put after what? Should I put more or less? And then you'll have a sea of upma full of water. Then your mother will come, what have you done? You can drink this upma, I made it easy for everybody. No, you didn't make it easy, you made it messy. Now let us work on removing the water from it, put this. Then she will teach you new tricks to improve the upma, or else you have to throw it all away. So this part has to happen now. Your practice has to happen now. And you will make mistakes. Doesn't matter. That's how you have learnt everything in life. Don't be in a rush to realize it. But remember whatever we have learnt. So after this, the next chapters, I will introduce to a very, very important concept. See, Kathopanishad is one of the most logical Upanishad. It's a perfect teaching material for Brahma Vidya. By now you would have got the idea that how beautifully he starts the story of one boy, Nachiketa, who's son of Vajashrava. Vajashrava is doing all wrong things to achieve happiness. And this fellow is observant, he points out, then he thinks, why should we do things like this? After all, we are all going to die one day. Then he goes to Yama, and then Yama, he asks Yama for the boons you know of, and the most important boon he asks is, tell me about the truth. And then Yama starts teaching him slowly. People in the world are deluded by these material desires, which 99.99999% of the world is like that. They are very deluded. And because of that, they choose wrongly. They choose pleasant over the good. And that's where the first problem begins there. Their viveka is not proper. So that is the problem. Those people who can't even discriminate between what is real and what is unreal, how will they progress on this path? So there is no possibility for them. Then he goes on to say, also those people don't believe that this truth exists. They are happy with kana, pina, sona, marna. No point for them, don't teach. But you are not like them. You are very, very smart. You are very, very determined. That's why you deserve it. Then Nachiketa says, thank you very much. Now please tell me that which is beyond all these dualities. Don't tell me you do yajna, you'll go to heaven. You do papa, you'll go to hell. Don't want to hear all this. I've heard from my father enough. You teach me that which takes me beyond all this once for all. I call it escape velocity. You've escaped the gravitational pull of the senses. Now you'll never come back. Teach me that, he says. And then he starts teaching, very beautifully he starts saying, it's not easy to understand if other than a Brahma Jnani speaks about it, and the fit disciple should also have the deservedness. How nicely, logically he builds the case. And all the way it takes him to say that only if you really, really want it, to the exception of everything else, will you get it. Otherwise, don't simply waste your and my time. And then finally he goes to say what are the qualifications. You want it badly, senses are in control, your mind is under control, your mind is pure and focused, and you're not even having impatience. You should be patient to realize. These 5 things he tells him and concludes saying that the Brahma Jnani is much, much more glorious than being a Brahman or Kshatriya, the best of the people in the society. It's even better than being Yama, who's more powerful than Brahman and Kshatriyas. Generally what used to happen, these Brahmins will control the Kshatriyas. But he's saying you are controlling the Brahmins. And Yama will control Brahmins also. Because Yama will kill the Brahmins at the end of their lives. So you are even beyond Yama. That's how logically he put it. Kshatriyas are very powerful. Beyond Kshatriyas are Brahmins who control the Kshatriyas. Beyond Brahmin is Yama, who eats up Kshatriyas and Brahmins. And you eat up Yama himself. The idea is that you are so very glorious. When you become Brahma Jnani, you are not afraid of Yama.